Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Appreciate it. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. You know, it was a real treat when I walked in this morning because Vincent, where are you, Vincent? There he is in the back. Came up to me and he said, Reverend Mary, I'm going on a vacation and I'm so excited. The gentleman that he lives with is going to take him to San Francisco next Saturday. And this Saturday. And they have room in the car for a couple more people. And he said, hey, anybody who would like to go to San Francisco for the day, see him after service. So that's very generous of you, Vincent. We're just really excited for you. And the youth, they helped staff the Watershed Festival booth last year. And Janelle was so great. She was attracting all the young men who went, whoa, look at me, look at Janelle, yeah. And it was really cute because she'd say, would you like a fortune cookie? You know? And of course they would just stand there and talk with her for a long time. But she said, you might like to come to the youth group. And they're going, mm-hmm. So I hope they do come again this year because it was really fun to have younger people in the booth just sharing our good nature and everything about us. So we're talking about the individual and the universal. And you know, with deep study, we do become aware of our connection to the universal. And it's a product of our awareness, really. How aware are we that we are swimming in this ocean of goodness? Now, I don't know about you, but before I got here, my life was like this. Up and down, all around, kind of like Highway 1 on the coast. Zip, that turn, and on the cliff, and here you go. And all of a sudden I was here. And isn't that amazing? Because it's not a straight line, is it? It's not a straight line to find that it's time to look deep into our own spiritual nature. Some of the roads you probably took to get here might have been dead ends. Some of them may have helped you get here. Like the time I was at the Women's Refuge Crab Feed, and I met some single people that were from here. And they told me what they believed and went, oh, yeah, I believe that. And so I asked this guy, because I'd been divorced a couple years, and said, how long have you been divorced? He said, 8 years. I went, holy cow, what happened? He said, every time I tell people where I go to church, I never see them again. So I thought, wait a minute, there's got to be some message here. And I walked in the next day and signed up for practitioner training. This was it for me. And so the universe is so immense, and our lives seem such a small part of that. We forget that we're really swimming in this ocean. So right now, I'd like you to pick up your program and hold it in front of your face. And if you don't have a program, just put your hand in front of your face. Oh, you're so good. Do you know that statement, I can't see the forest for the trees? This is your tree. What's in front of your face are your immediate problems. And I'm asking you, how much time do you spend focused on these problems and you don't see the forest? So you can put your problems down. Open up to the forest. You live in a forest of infinite potential. Now, when I walk through the redwoods on the coast, I don't know about you, but I feel the presence of God. I smell the essence of love. I feel at one with that. It's very special. Same way at the ocean. You just feel like you could jump in and just be in that presence. When life seems out of order, take yourself there, because there is peace, power, beauty, and joy. I go to Mount Shasta in my mind, in the top of Mount Shasta. But all I have to do is feel the presence, and it seems to appear. All of a sudden, when I'm feeling the presence, my life starts to flow. Now, science is calling this the field. It's the field of energy that is the whole universe. Just like this podium looks like a podium, but it's really little atoms moving around. At the quantum level, everything's in motion. Everything. And so any vibration in the rest of the field affects that. They call it waves. They've found gravitational waves from many years, thousands of years ago. So I was reading through Deepak Chopra's book, The Book of Secrets. If you haven't read it, it's a marvelous book. Chapter 11 is all about the universe thinks through you. And he recalls this gentleman that came to see him one day. And this gentleman had been to India many times. He had devoted his life to spirituality. And he had, bracelets and amulets. And he had been to many holy sites and been blessed by many holy people. Chopra said, well, what do you do for a living? And he said, oh, a little healing, some psychic stuff. Chopra asked him, can you give me an example? He said, sure. Take a piece of paper and write down what you're thinking about. What's a question that you have and what you're thinking about? Well, Chopra's wife had been in New Delhi for a couple of months with family, and he was wondering when she'd come home. But he wrote down, wife, when's she coming home? And the man stood there and he went into this long chant, and he said, Tuesday. She's coming home Tuesday. And anyway, they parted company and he went on his way. But Chopra was really dumbfounded. This man connected two energies of mind in this universal field of energy. He was able to do that. How it becomes a mystery. But the more you mature in your awareness of how the universe works, these things can happen. And it's really impressive to me. I'm not there yet, by the way. But we can continue to deepen our awareness. Now, I have to take you to Thursday. Reverend Sue was out of town, and she asked me to handle her practitioner class in the afternoon from 1 to 4. And one of the most challenging skills a practitioner learns is what we say, identify the cause of someone's problems. Cause. We go, how did you get to cause? Did you get to cause? How did you get to cause? And since these practitioners are in training, I was asking them about this. In the textbook, Holmes wrote, the first principle fundamental to understanding the operation of our thought is that we're surrounded by an infinite intelligence, and this infinite mind reacts to our thought according to law. It's the law of cause and effect, as we explain it. Our thoughts, our energy is stored in subconscious mind, and energy attracts like energy. That's the best thing to know if you're going to be a practitioner. It's like an attractor factor. What's in there, that energy. If it's negative, it's attracting just as much as the positive. Those thoughts in subconscious mind act as cause. So one of the case studies in their workbook was about Bill. Bill came to a practitioner because he lost his car, he lost his billfold, and now he was afraid of losing his job. And he asked the practitioner for help. And so I asked the students, well, what would you ask Bill? And one person said, well, I'd ask him about other losses in his life and his belief about loss, and would he be willing to give up those beliefs? Now, I thought, okay, good start. But I would ask Bill, why does he have a string of losses? Because he has a belief about that. And he might have said something like this, well, I feel like a loser. I'm never going to get ahead. I lost my girlfriend, which proves I can't keep anything. I feel inadequate to do anything right. Aha. From this information, the practitioner listens to those energy-filled words. And inadequate is a big one. It's a big one. which goes along with feeling like a loser. So if we probed a little bit more, we might find out why Bill feels that way about himself. Perhaps his mother always berated him that he would never make anything of himself. Perhaps a member of his family or one of his friends bullied him into feeling like a loser. Perhaps his boss criticized him so much about his driving that he lost his billfold, his driver's license, and his car. So this is all stored up negative energy. And when we reveal it, we see cause. And then we do a treatment, and in that third step of treatment, we nail the truth. That's the gift of practitioner work. Because the practitioner can share with Bill that God is love. God freely gives love. You are a creation of God. God is your source of supply. And Bill goes, yeah, I still feel like a loser. Thank you. But you see the difference. That third step of treatment is where the practitioner nails the truth about each one of those misguided beliefs. The truth is, Bill's a soul on a journey here. He's here to learn and grow. There might be some stumbling blocks. Were there any in your life? Of course there were. Some of them prevented you from coming here earlier. We're all here on this sacred journey, and that's the important part, because God created Bill to be here to learn and grow and expand his consciousness, to see the goodness all around him, to express his talents. Holmes wrote, "Infinite intelligence responds to us by the very necessity of being true to its own nature. It responds by corresponding." That's its nature. It responds by corresponding. Your focus, your energy, what you think about, what you worry about, respond by corresponding. So I'm asking you today, do you believe that universal law is consistent and absolute? Oh, bless your heart. She's a practitioner in training. Do you believe that we live in a life-affirming universe? Do you believe that life is eternal? Do you believe that you are a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe? Bless you who say yes. And those of you that are going, I don't know yet. That's what classes are for. That's what participating in a community like this is for, to raise your awareness, not to tell you what to think, but how to think about life. So we've all been on this learning curve, and what happens at some point is some of us begin to connect the dots, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. And when you connect those dots, you have a major leap in conscious awareness. When that happens, our life flows a lot better. There's no difference, Chopra said, there's no difference between our breathing and the breathing of the rainforest. There's no difference between the flowing of the blood in our bodies and every river on this earth. It's all flowing, and it's all responding to the energy it's swimming in, so to speak. So the universe is not standing still. And if you are, you're fighting it. You're fighting it. The universe favors evolution. And taking this lifetime to evolve is what this is all about. Now, there have been some critical turning points in my life, and I'm sure there have been in yours. And how they worked out tells you how in alignment you are with the flow of goodness in the universe. Here's how it works. If you're ready to move forward and you're ready to change, that's good. If you're paying attention so you see the opportunities that knock on your door, that's good. If you took some steps with those opportunities that came knocking, that's good. Because then the universe has the energy to support you. I'm ready, I want to learn, I want to grow. So events fall in place when we are aware of all that. Now I can see this sequence operating in my life. In my 20s, I worked for a lumber company in Ohio for several years and decided I wanted to get a college education, and Ohio State was just down the road. And so I got a degree in sawmill management, forest industries management. Now, my husband and I wanted to move from Ohio to the West Coast, and I wanted to work in the forest products industry, so that was my vision. This was long before I found the Science of Mind. But my husband and I were ready to move forward. I paid attention, I studied the companies I would like to work for, and a month before graduation, I took a flight from Ohio to Seattle and then to Portland, and I interviewed managers in the companies that I thought I might want to work for. They thought that was different. But I thought it was necessary. You know, the unknown was too unknown. And right before I graduated, one company, Crown Zeller back in Portland, flew me out to Portland to talk to me about one of their important jobs in the wood fiber industry that supported their pulp and paper industry. And 5 days after I graduated, I started that job. And it was very exciting. And I really didn't know what I was stepping into. But the flow was there because we left Ohio and some moving company picked up all our stuff, and then they kept saying, we don't know where the moving truck is, but luckily a friend of ours had a sister in Portland who had a fully furnished house for rent, and it was available. So the day I got off the plane and started the job, we had a furnished house to live in. And I felt really free. It was a very exciting time. My family and friends in Ohio thought we were crazy. Corporate America, you gotta be kidding. Wood products, you gotta be kidding. But you know, I felt like a new person. It was a very special time. And so whenever you feel stuck, think about that. Are you really ready to take a new step? Are you really ready to pay attention? Are you really ready to have the universe support you? It takes a shift in your awareness to make that happen. Within a few months of starting that job, I was given the position of fiber manager for 2 pulp mills in Puget Sound. One in Port Townsend, one in Port Angeles, if you know the area. And it was pretty amazing because the sawmills make lumber, and all their extra wood they chip up and they send to the pulp mills, and they make paper. And the paper goes all over the world. And there were 9 pulp and paper mills in Puget Sound at that time. Now, the way this works is you get a contract with the sawmill for 5 years, but you have to renegotiate the price every 3 months because the market is so volatile. And this is where I learned how to do spreadsheets. I learned really good because I had to know what was the inventory of wood fiber at those pulp and paper mills. What was the inventory of logs at the sawmill? Were they going to have enough? Were there strikes going on? Was there labor negotiations going on with the longshoremen who moved the barges and containers from our mills all over the world? How many logs were coming from Canada into the US? How many logs were going to Japan, going to China? You can see this huge spreadsheet. And from that, I had to make a decision that my position is the price of that wood fiber needed to go up or down. So of course, I attracted the toughest customer ever. It was Simpson Timber in Shelton, Washington. And that one sawmill, we bought $6 million worth of wood fiber a year from them, just the one sawmill. And their manager told me the first day when I walked in and introduced myself and tried to make small talk, he said, look, I'm busy. You got 30 minutes. And if we can't decide on 30 minutes, come back. I said, you know what? I need to come back because I wasn't ready for that kind of conversation. But the next time I was. And I spent an hour and a half in McDonald's in Shelton, Washington, finalizing my spreadsheet. And I had ups and downs and ins and outs. And one time I called my boss and the other buyers in our department. I said, I don't know about you, but all my indicators say I should be able to lower the price $30 a unit. 30%, a 30% decrease in the price. And they said, you're crazy. She's new, you know. Well, I was paying attention. And I did my homework. In fact, we had an airplane at the time, and I had my husband fly over those other 9 pulp mills so I could see their inventory and photographs. Then I had to calculate how many truckloads did it go up and down, whatever. I analyzed this whole marketplace, and all the information kind of settled out. The universe was supporting me. And guess what? From my boss and 2 other buyers, I won 3 crowns, 3/5 of Crown Royal Bourbon. That's what chip buyers did in those days. But the truth was, I was now one of them. So as we build our relationship with the universe, there's going to be days when things don't flow. There's going to be days like Paul's always thrilled when he can drive through town and hit all the green lights. And there's days when you hit all the red lights. There's days when things go up, when things go down. And it's time to say, where is my mind? Where is my focus? Am I looking at the tree or am I looking at the whole forest? In those moments that you feel absorbed by nature, those are really precious. They're refreshing, they're cleansing. It's like breathing fresh air. It's what's called the I and thou relationship. My relationship with thou, the infinite intelligence of the universe. So if you're interested in expanding your awareness and having more of those flowing moments, you know what I'm going to say. Do your spiritual practices, take classes, because it's a lifelong learning experience. And as we identify more with this universal presence that we live and breathe in and is breathing through us, our fears and worries tend to go away. They're not so important because we trust. We have trust in the universe. That's why every day when I look at Drudge Report, I look at Fox News, I look at the Wall Street Journal, I look at Time Magazine, and I go, so that's how the world is doing its thing today. And I trust it's good because humanity is working hard to find out how to really get along with one another, how to really come together to be the peace, power, beauty, and joy in a country and in the world. There's really nothing we can be separated from because we are part of the whole, and that's the truth. And so let's do a prayer about that. That's why we always say there is only one. There is only one power and presence going on here, and we are individual droplets of that. Just like the rain the other day. We are just droplets of the rain in a magic forest. We breathe the fresh air. We smell the fresh air. We are grateful for the awakening of our consciousness, the building of our awareness of how we swim in this ocean of love. And I accept for everyone here this morning that you're ready to swim. You're ready to feel it. You're ready to know it. You're ready to take those steps to your future that awaits you by being aware, by getting ready, and by being in the presence of God. So whatever your journey is today, I accept that for you, that it is there for you, but it takes your effort, your focus, being the guardian of your mind, to make it happen in the highest and best way it can happen, because Spirit always says yes. Spirit always responds by corresponding to you and who you are. I'm so grateful for this truth. I've experienced it in my life, and some days I have to rethink it. I have to reread it. I have to get out the science of mind. I have to go through it again, remind myself what this is all about. And then I am grateful. Grateful for this philosophy, grateful for knowing this, grateful for being able to share it, grateful for being able to use it. And so life flows, and it is beautiful. And so it is. Thank you.